Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from the AES Corporation, and it's not about their usual power grids, but about something that powers their employees, their compensation plan. Get ready to see how the company plans to incentivize its people, because it can lead to some shocking profits or some equally shocking losses. Before we get started, if you find value in understanding these kinds of reports, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, join our Discord community. The link is in the description below, where you can discuss and analyze all things related to business and finance. This is a Form 8K filing, which is basically a corporate quick update. Companies use these forms to tell investors about important events that could affect their stock. Think of it as an FYI from the company to its shareholders. The most recent update is dated May 9, 2025, so what happened on that day? It looks like stockholders, that is, the company's owners, approved something called the AES Corporation 2025 Equity and Incentive Compensation Plan, or in simpler terms, a plan to pay employees with company stock and other incentives. Let's call it the plan. The company is making available 14 million shares of common stock. Plus, there are some extra shares left over from an older plan. Also, any shares that were promised under the old plan but were later forfeited, cancelled, or settled for cash also become available under this new plan. So it is 14 million plus leftovers. Who gets these awards? Well, employees and also the company's board of directors, the people in charge of the company, are eligible. There's usually a 1-year waiting period or a performance period before the employees actually get the awards. It is like a trial before they get the reward. The plan includes things like stock options, where you can buy the stock at a set price, restricted stock which you can't sell until certain conditions are met, and also cash bonuses. It's a mix of ways to motivate and reward people. What goals do people have to meet to get these awards? Well, the goals, also called management objectives, can be things like increasing cash flow, growing earnings per share, return on investment, market share, or even improving safety records. The company wants to make sure that these incentives are tied to things that make the company more successful and help the environment and society. There's a limit to how much the non-employee directors can get paid in cash and or stock each year. The limit is $900,000, so no one gets too greedy. Also, the plan limits the number of shares of common stock that may be subject to incentive stock options to 14 million. Besides approving the plan, the company had a vote on a few other important things at their annual meeting on May 9. It is like an election for businesses. First, shareholders voted on electing 11 directors to the board. These are the people who will oversee the company's strategy and performance for the next year. All 11 directors were elected by a wide margin, with each receiving over 560 million votes for. Let's take Honecker Couple, for example. Out of all the votes cast, 566, 610, 256, and we about 53 million votes that were not cast either way. So the owners of the company approved all choices for the company's leadership. Another vote was about the company's executive pay. This is an advisory vote, meaning the company doesn't have to do exactly what the shareholders say. Still, it's a good way to see if investors are happy with how much the top bosses are getting paid. In this vote, the majority, 487,583,030.27, voted in favour of the compensation. However, a significant number, 87,033,1955, voted against it. Shareholders also voted to approve Ernst & Young LL as the company's independent auditor for the year 2025. Auditors check the company's financial records to make sure everything is accurate and honest. Think of it like a financial checkup. The vote was overwhelmingly in favour, with 636,213 votes for, and only 6,813 votes for, and only 6,000 against, so the accounting firm remains the same. And there was also a separate vote to specifically approve the plan we talked about earlier. Remember that the plan is the one that gives out stocks and other awards to the company employees. This passed as well, with 551,297,079 votes for it, 24,094,695 against it, and the rest of the votes not being cast either way. So the majority wants to compensate people with company stock and other incentives. Finally, there was a shareholder proposal to change the company's policy on taking back incentive pay. This is often called a clawback policy, and it lets the company get back money that was wrongly given to executives, maybe because of some mistake or fraud. This proposal didn't pass. Most of the owners, that is, the shareholders, voted against it. They rejected it by a huge margin. Only 34,182 people voted for it, and 540,363,350 yeah, we're gonna beast it. The filing then lists the exhibits, which are additional documents that provide more detail about the items discussed in the report. In this case, the exhibit is the actual 2025 Equity and Incentive Compensation Plan document. Now, what does all this mean? Well, the AES Corporation is making sure it has a plan in place to keep its employees and leaders motivated. The plan gives everyone a reason to work hard. The shareholders voted in favour of it, suggesting that they believe it is a good plan. The big no vote on the clawback proposal is interesting. Maybe the shareholders felt like the current policy was good enough. Looking at this more broadly, AES seems to be focusing on aligning the interests of its employees with the company's success. By tying pay to performance goals, they are encouraging everyone to work towards the same targets. One potential risk could be if the performance goals are not well designed. People may be incentivized to take shortcuts to meet the goals. Alright, that's our breakdown of AES's latest filing. What's your take on these votes and what they mean for the company's direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Also, don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching and see you next time.